Topic: Baba's presence in our day. Dear folks of Baba, one of you suggested this topic and posed this question to ask ourselves. There are many special places in this world to which folks can travel and experience the gift of Baba's presence. But what about the places where we live? These places Baba has put us. Where you are, where you live, is there a special time or place you sometimes feel the gift of Baba's presence? Even though the mind may be rattling away in the background, are there times when Baba brings your heart to center stage? Does his presence at times happen unexpectedly? Do you feel Baba's presence alone, in group situations, or both? Sometimes Baba's presence brings a deep feeling of calm and clarity, sometimes longing, joy, tears, sometimes all together. Can you describe Baba's presence? Expanding on this topic, how does Baba show up in your life? What special times and places in your day do you feel him with you? In opening up to Baba, he enters personally into our lives, where we are at home or work or on vacation through us. His divine presence seeps into these places, and we and others respond naturally to the atmosphere that is created. When I go to the homes of Baba lovers, as well as others who are focused on the divine, I feel the warmth and expansiveness of his living presence that they have cultivated through their continual loving focus on him. I have no doubt that these places actually have become a repository of his divine impressions that are tangible and can be felt. We are discussing places here, but are there times of the day that are imbued for you with Baba's loving presence? Time itself can become inhabited for us by Baba. He has recommended the practice of dressing our soul with Baba. The first thing in the morning, at 12 noon, around 5 o'clock, and just before going to bed. Baba has said that with this practice, we will eventually feel his presence throughout the day. There are also the times we devote to the prayers and spare moments during the day when we steal away to Baba. Maybe in the car on the way to work is a time set aside by us to remember him. Do you find that there are special times that can be reminders of the many ways we infuse our remembrance of him into our lives so that every day is an adventure with him? Aren't those moments wonderful when Baba just shows up spontaneously without any effort on our part? How do you experience Baba's presence? What are some of the places in the course of your day that invariably remind you of him? What special times bring his presence for you? Feel free to describe some of the unique moments and places which you share with Baba. It is important for each of us who love Baba to be with Baba. Baba is with us every second, but it becomes complete when we are with him. Mani's sister, Baba. Mani, Baba's sister, dear. In his love, Jeff.
Thank you, Sabine, and you should be congratulated that you were able to navigate that at 3 in the morning.
Barely.
So, I know we've had this similar subject in the past, but and I'd like to hear hopefully from some of the others who normally don't chime in. Feel free, and yeah, and I had something I was going to say. Let's see. Oh, I think I have forgotten it. Um, yeah. So, does anybody want to venture out on this topic? How you feel Baba's presence in your day, and that it's That remembering Baba those 4 times during the day, you actually eventually feel Baba with you wherever you go. It was exactly what Baba said. But go ahead. Anybody wants to venture out? Let's see. Oh, good.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before, but I have I have our local Denver group library here at my house, and it's really lovely. It's a special thing to have, to be surrounded by all these wonderful books and pamphlets and messages and stories, and I usually get up fairly early in the morning before the sun rises, and I usually remember Baba when I wake up, and then I uh, I get ready for the day and I say my prayers, and I sit down in that library and pull out whatever book I'm reading at the time, and right across from me is a picture of Meher Baba that I just it's a wonderful picture. It's my favorite one, and I sit in the same old chair in the same old place in the corner of my little library and look at Baba's picture and read whatever I'm reading, and the sun comes up and sometimes shines on that photograph, and I'll read and I'll look at Baba and I'll read some more and I'll look at Baba, and often Baba, Jeff, you use the word warmth, and that's the first feeling I get. It's a warmth in the heart that, and I know Baba is here. I know Baba is with me. And then it's a warmth. It's a spacious warmth. And it's so much in the moment. Very unlike the rest of getting wrapped up in the rest of the day, and it's a quiet, spacious presence that is just so well, it's hard to describe, but that's kind of the way that I experience it, and then sometimes Baba just shows up. I might be out on a walk or something, and I see a beautiful tree, and I remember Baba, and I feel that same presence. I feel that same warmth, that spaciousness, that openness. And I'll mention one other little incident that happened about a year ago. Um, I was having a particularly, I don't know, dark and confused time, and I went out for a walk, and I I came home, opened the gate to the yard, and walked to the front door, and on the threshold of my door, uh, a perfectly heart-shaped leaf had blown in and landed right in the center of the threshold of my door. And it was, I just, it lightened me so much. And I thought, okay, thank you, Baba. But I took that leaf inside and put it next to a picture of Baba's feet that I have in my library, and kept it until it just got so brittle that it sort of fell apart. But it was one of those, it was one of those reminders that he's always here, he's always with us, and he does what we really need. So thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Those, I know those are the little minor miracles that Baba does. You know, a leaf on your threshold, on your front steps. All these little things have Baba's signature. You know, what you're saying that you have this chair that you always sit in that, and think of Baba and in the early morning. When I'm reminded when Baba was in San Francisco or wherever Joseph Harb lived. I can't remember exactly in the Bay Area, but he would sit in this chair. That was his where he would meditate on Baba. That was his special chair. And at one point, Baba in '56 went and visited his house, and Baba went and sat in his chair.
Oh, wow.
you know, beautiful. I have a chair over at the across the way on the other side of the parking lot here that Mara sat on when she was here with Baba, and I mean, actually in New York in 1952. But yeah, these things are precious. Okay.
Deborah?
Ah, there she is.
Thank you again, Jeff, for these wonderful talks. And that was wonderful, Bob, about the leaf. And there are always little signs that Baba gives us. We least expect it. It's like a game of hide and seek, at least to me. And for me, it's through nature and it's animals. And I remember one time I was in the city and there was a police horse. I wasn't far from it, and I went like this to the horse because I know how much Baba loves horses. And the horse actually bowed. And I thought, whoa, Baba, you showing up all over the place. And I was always doing things. Maybe I'm flattering myself, I don't know, but I see it very much, very often. And I'm not aware of it, the way that animals or other people will respond to me. I can tell that he's coming through. It's when I'm not there that he knows, if that makes any sense. Of course, it makes sense because Baba talked about that, but it's when I'm gone that Baba is able to be present. That's all.
Yeah, I can imagine we miss a lot of moments when we're kind of absent. That these are probably sprinkled there throughout the day, and at some point when we are really in the present, there it is. You know, the leaf on the porch or whatever. You know, the bowing of the horse. Yeah. Anyone else? Do I dare call on somebody? Oh, good. We got the East Bay here.
Alan?
Hey, sorry about that. I was trying
Great.
to figure it out on my phone.
You look like a priest there with that white collar, you know?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
He is God, isn't he?
We're working on it. Yeah, I recently I started reading Befitting a Fortunate Slave about Erich.
Yeah.
And I was having a particularly challenging day at work, and Adrian was starting on the dinner, and I was like, I just really I need to read this book. I was thinking about it all day long, and I finally sat down and I was reading it out loud to her, and as I was reading it, I sort of I suddenly was hit with a very powerful memory that I had, that I forgot that I had this moment, because I sort of shoved it away when it had happened. But it was about 2 years ago when I was in India, when I visited Marazat for the first time. And I remember getting there, and Devana was outside the green doors and talking to some people. And I just somehow, I was like, I just beelined it for Erich's room. And I didn't, nobody was really around, but I just kind of went there, and I didn't know that it was like barricaded off or that you couldn't go in. But I turned the corner, and I tell you, I was hit with such a deep, from inside out. I felt like there was an implosion of, I, it was, I felt, I just felt like such a deep, uh, I don't know if I can't explain it. The right word is, I felt like a deep loss of such a close friend of mine. But not a loss, but it was also like the triumph. And the triumph of uh, of him and being with Baba, and but it just was like I wanted to see my old friend. It was like, it was such a strange feeling to turn and expect to see him there, and it just looked like, it just struck me like a museum. It was like it was like stuck in time or something. And I just was so, I was so affected by that moment, and it hit me so intensely I couldn't even like swallow. And then there was this group of people that had started coming around, and they're like, you know, Alan, did you see the blue bus? And I was like, and I kind of collected myself and forgot about that moment until I was reading this book, and in that moment I was able to sort of feel the depth of Baba's love and compassion for me in all the things that have been happening for the past 2 years since that moment. And so yeah, I think I guess to answer it simply is like just reading his books and the stories of him and the stories of the masters, and it just helps remind me, keep that golden thread, you know, to Baba, because so yeah, sometimes I can get very lost in the intensity of my life and my mind, and but I've sort of, like I said, I'll just end it here with I've sort of lost something inside of me that has this desire to like when am I gonna just feel you all the time? Like when am I gonna see you all the time? Like I don't have that expectation anymore. And I remember that night I had a dream where I was someplace, and I assume it was the future, and I was sitting around and there's all these people meditating, and everybody was looking real cool, and like everybody had all these cool meditation clothes and these altars up, and I put a picture of Baba dressed as Krishna up, and somebody immediately came by and took the picture and set up an altar and started putting these things around it, and these people collected around him and were like, yes, he is an amazing Baba lover, yes, yes, yes. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? And I remember sitting there, and I was trying to meditate, quote unquote, and finally I felt so overwhelmed. I was like, what are we doing? And everybody sort of stopped and looked up at me. And I was like, I don't want any of this. I don't want any of you. And they're all like, whoa, whoa. And I was like, I just want Meher Baba. I want to be with him physically. I want to be with Meher Baba. I don't want any of this. I don't want any of this. And I just was like losing my mind. And they were just terrified. They were like, oh, okay, okay, you're okay. I was like, it's not okay. I want Meher Baba. Get me out of here. And I woke up halfway, just halfway shouting that. But I guess that was Baba's gift to me, just from that little moment. Anyway, sorry for rambling, but
Yeah,
I just want
beautiful.
to share that.
These are, yeah, lovely. And, you know, these people on this screen here are all meditating, you know, so
Oh, nice.
you got them away from their altars, you know. Okay, anybody else? You know, I was reminded, Erich once said, I would take 1,000 lifetimes just to come back and be with him as a mangy dog. 1,000 lifetimes just to be able to comb his hair one last time. He's not in a hurry to get realization, but to stay with Baba on this side, on the creation side of realization, you might say. Well, anyone else?
Wait a minute. Do you mean that he wants to be a mangy dog that's going to comb Baba's hair?
No, but there were two different thoughts there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. He couldn't get it on his paw, so he. Okay, anybody else? I know Bob's. Oh well, I shouldn't give away who wrote the in the email, but you know how you're. This is just one way that I feel, Bob. You know how sometimes you can be in a room and you can feel that there's somebody behind you. You know, you can feel there's a presence. In a way, it's kind of like that with Baba throughout the day. It's just, you might say, just behind, and there's that warmth, but that's different from just a person being back there. There's a great warmth and love that's just kind of behind you, even if you aren't able to see. It's there throughout the day.
Yeah, and it's nothing, if I'll just hop in here for a second, and it's nothing, I mean, you know, the mind plays its tricks and says, well, it's just because of this. Well, no, this is nothing that I can create. Yeah, I mean, it's way beyond anything that mind can invent. It's not a mood, you know, it's a joy that I only experience in my life on those particular moments when Baba, for whatever reason, that's his gift. He just sort of shows up and I feel that. So yeah.
Yeah, and I do feel it's really fun for Baba to drop in. You know, we think, well, you know, I don't know where we put him, but as you know, there's Baba, there's the divine Baba, but there's the very human Baba that likes to kind of, you know, go to Denver and check out, you know, Bob sitting there at his desk, you know. Anyone else? You know, here, oh, okay.
Ron.
I'll add to what you were just talking about, because I may have mentioned this at one of our chats before, but quite a few years ago, I don't know, it could have been 40 years ago.
Ron, your volume is really low.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're a
yeah,
little
I got it now. How about
Yeah,
that?
there you go.
good.
That's
Thank you.
better. Thank you for reminding me about this microphone deal. Okay, so I had an experience that kind of, it just started to happen and then it stopped happening, but it might have lasted a week, could have lasted 2 weeks, but because it was so long ago, I really didn't keep track of it. I didn't know I should keep track of it, but it was something like that, more than just a few days, where I was experiencing Baba's presence, his physical presence, but I couldn't see him, but I could feel him. I could feel his physical presence in any room I was in, everywhere I was. I could do it without using my imagination or anything like that. It was just that he was there, and then it stopped. And I figured maybe I asked Baba what was that all about, but the gist of it is that he wanted me to know that he was always right there watching me. He was watching me. He was prepared to help me if I needed it. If I didn't need it, fine. But he was aware of everything that was going on, more aware than I was aware that what was going on. And I only needed to have this one experience to have it last for the rest of his life. That because I just know that he's there because he showed me that he was there, and he didn't. So I don't figure he withdrew his being. He just withdrew that sensation, that basic sensation of feeling his physical presence without being able to see him or hear him even.
beautiful. Well, I mean, very vividly expressed. Yeah, Baba said to Adi way back when he was young, feel that you're being watched by me. Feel you are watched by me. Even cultivate that he's not off somewhere in the aloof up in whatever you call it, Mount Etna or whatever, but he's down here. Yeah. Great. And yeah, and that, like I say, you're convinced for life that he is there. Yeah, it's
Janet.
Yeah. Well, what's been happening for me lately is that I just sort of share the daily events with Baba. I mean, not every single thing, but you know, if something either quite pleasant, like maybe some exciting thing with my grandchildren, or something difficult that may happen, which there are numbers of those things right now in my life as well. I just um, engage with Baba in a way that it's this constant companionship thing, you know, the whole constant companionship thing. And, you know, sometimes as I'm doing that, I really feel his presence, and a lot of times I don't. And sometimes I think, oh my God, if somebody was to really be able to record what's going on in your head, Janet, they would wonder about you. But but I just my my thing is that I share my life with Baba, and I don't. I mean, I haven't felt the need to go any place like to Myrtle Beach or India. I mean, I've done that in the past, but I haven't felt any need for that. I have more need. I feel like Baba wants me where I'm at, that there's more need for me right here where I am in my life with my family and all that's engaged with that. And that, you know, like I say, sometimes I feel the connection really strongly, and other times I act as if it's happening and I really don't feel it that much. But I just, that to me is the essence of Baba in my life. I mean, in my, and I mean, I read Baba books and I go to the Baba meetings in Denver. But I mean, if that was it for me, I would be pretty, it wouldn't be a lot because it's once a month, you know, and so it's the everyday. And I'm not around a lot of people who are into Baba in my daily life. So when I even say things, I disguise Baba's name with like my own family and not so much my friends, but you know, I mean, they know about Baba, but it doesn't seem to matter that that's true. I don't have to be, you know, wearing a Meher Baba advertisement. I feel like my inner being is the Meher Baba not advertisement, but the way
message.
Baba, the message, yes, the
Yeah.
way Baba comes through our lives to touch the world. And so right now, where that is for me in Boulder, Colorado. So, yeah.
Yeah, lovely. No, I mean that's I'm sure what you expressed. I think most of the Baba people feel in one way or another, and just to have that as an immediate thing and not just every Sunday type of thing. You know, we get to have it all day long. This is just extraordinary. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, Jai Baba. Oh, there are two devices here. Okay. Oh, not yet.
1 second.
Turn it off, maybe.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
There were two devices on. Yeah, no, I'm just reminded of a time when I seem to experience this, you know, just happiness all the time for a week or so. I don't remember how many days. And this happened in 1996. And, you know, all that I would do while going to work was to listen to the songs over and over and over and over. And there was this sense of elation all the time. And this went on for a week. And I felt good about it, obviously, being with Baba most of the time. And and then those days, the communications with my family in India was rather not too often, because now we have WhatsApp and we talk all the time. But that time it was not so. So days passed. So after about 10 days or so, my brother calls me up from India and tells me that grandfather passed away 10 days ago. So then, and they didn't want to tell me because I was away so far, and they felt that that might disturb me a lot, and then they just kept it away from me, this particular news of his passing away. And my grandfather was a great man who who started the first center in Twin Cities in Hyderabad and Secunderabad way back in 1964, if I recall correctly. And and he has had Baba's darshan several times, and so on and so forth. So, and we were very connected. That's what I was about to say. And and during those weekdays, without even knowing, I had this sensation of feeling elated and thinking about Baba constantly. And then later I realized that that's what probably he wanted me to do, my grandfather. That remember Baba all the time. And so that's one of those special sort of special days when I felt him very strongly. Otherwise, my routine generally is in the morning, wake up, think about Baba, and listen to my uncle's chants. He recorded several of them, and I love listening to them. And at times it feels very dry, but at times you just constantly, feel that tug within you. And but I like what the story that says that women carrying the pitcher on their heads and all the while gossiping, but carrying that pitch, their focus always on the the thing they're carrying on their heads, the pot of water or whatever. So these days I try to think about it more often, and that way I try to be with him as much as I can. And that's what happens with me. Jai Baba.
Yeah, like later on, if you could find, or at some point find that quote that it's in God Speaks in the supplement.
Jeff, you're saying something, but we can't hear you for some reason.
Wow. Can you hear me now?
Still can't hear.
Oh,
I think everybody else can hear me.
Oh, maybe you all can. Maybe
Yes.
I'm unable to hear. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, sorry. I'm muted. Sorry.
Yeah. But I was saying, if you can find that passage, it's in the supplement of God Speaks about the village women carrying the pitchers of water on their heads.
Right. Now that's a beautiful example for me. And today I felt that more strongly, as if, I mean, it looked like he's there in the back of the, whatever I'm doing most of the time. I wouldn't say all the time, but most of the time. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great way to just be with him constantly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you can find that passage and break in at some point and share it. Yeah, if you can find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else? How Baba shows up in your day, these little interventions. What about Meher Sagar from Seattle? You can pass if you like.
Yeah, so usually I have like, Baba's songs playing in the car. Every day I drive to work. Then I also have like Irwin Lux, that movie on audio, right? So it's on CD. So I keep listening to it every day I mean, every week I change the CD. So, but every day I keep listening to Baba's thing. So on this particular day, what happened was I was in a technical meeting with one of our architects, and it was a heated argument between me and the other architects. So the tempers rose, and then my ego kicked in, and we had a huge argument on how the architecture should be done and all that. And after the meeting ended, my my teammate said, okay, we usually go for like every 3 months or 4 months, we go for a team lunch. So they said, Meher, we need to go for team lunch. Come on, let's go for the team lunch. So there is this mall near our office in Bellevue downtown. It's called Bellevue Square Mall, and they said we'll go to lunch to a Mexican restaurant called Cactus. And there is a sky bridge we need to cross. From my office, from the behind we go. There's a sky bridge we cross, and there is a software company there. And then from the sky bridge we get into the Bellevue Square Mall. So as I was nearing the sky bridge, there was this fragrance I felt. They had this fragrance, and that fragrance was exactly the same fragrance that you all perceive when you enter the samadhi. Same kind of flowers. Immediately, all my thoughts turned towards Baba, and he was like making me remember and how much our temper and ego I had in this thing. It's completely vanished at that moment. He made me remember, and then I went back the next day. I had a normal discussion with the architects, and we all agreed on the point. So sometimes I feel that Baba himself, he interjects in a scenario, and then he makes you remember by force and diffuses the situation. That's what I feel.
Beautiful. Yep. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, these little interludes, Baba interludes, when he actually kind of shows up, not from just within, but also intervenes in your outer life, is fantastic.
I found that, Jeff.
Was that?
I found it. I can read it whenever you want. So
Yeah. Why don't you read it now, and then we'll we'll
Okay.
go to Robert. Yeah.
Yeah, this is from God Speaks, as Jeff said, and page 195 in the online version. And this one goes, Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia, the perfect master of Delhi, was once asked by a visitor how one should live in the world. At that moment, it so happened that a few women were passing by with pitchers of water balanced on their heads. And as they walked, they gossiped and gesticulated. Pointing to them, Nizamuddin said, look at those women. That's how you should live in the world. And it goes, as to explain this cryptic remark, the master continued, these women, returning from the well, with pitchers balanced on their heads, seem to be thinking of nothing else but exchanging tidbits, gossip with each other. And yet, they're all the time concentrating on something far more important, on balancing the pitchers on their heads. Thus, whatever your body, your senses, or the purely surface part of your mind may be occupied with, see that the root of your mind is constantly focused on God. Yeah. That's very
Beautiful image. Thank you.
Jai Baba.
Yeah, Jai Baba.
Robert.
Okay. Well, Jai Baba, everybody. I would say I've been coming to Arti for the past few weeks, and half the people on here are usually there for Arti, but that's one thing that's been really helping me to remember Baba before going to bed is, just coming to Arti. So you're all welcome if you haven't been coming. Another thing I just did, and for some reason I lost it today, but I put it back on. Hold on a second. Oh, gosh, here. I put Baba's picture on my smartphone, so it's on my wall cover. Is that coming through?
Yeah, you can see it perfectly. Yeah.
Ironically, what Baba did was that the time is right above his eyebrows. It's right above his eyebrows. I didn't that way, but they just turned out that way. But it feels like it fits. And this is the very first image that I saw of Baba 50 years ago when I went to. It was on someone's desk, and I asked, "Who's that? Who's that person there? Who is that?" So I was intrigued by this picture of the famous "Don't Worry, Be Happy" picture. Yeah. I also, music sometimes brings me to Baba. There's a beautiful song that I heard from the 60s called Walk Away Renee. You may know it. I'm not sure if you may. It's just a beautiful song of longing. And I think it was maybe last week Deborah shared that sometimes the feeling of longing for Baba is as great as feeling connection with Baba. So I just feel like, what I did was I wrote some of the words for that song. I can't carry a tune, so I can't do it, but I shared it before in art by sharing it here again. So I just wrote it this week. When you see, I mean, hold on a second. When you see us, I'm sorry.
Who?
It's talking.
Tina? I think you're.
Right. Okay. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
been muted.
Yeah.
And when I see your sign that points one way, I love you more and more in each and every day. Just walk beside me, Baba. I won't stop following you back home. The empty side thoughts I have are not the same, but you're still the same. From in deep inside the tears I'm happy to cry, from deep inside the pain I feel when I choose to hide. Just walk beside me, Baba. I won't stop following you back home. Now as your truth beats down upon my weary eyes, for you I cry. Your name and mine, inside a heart as on the wall, still finds a way to haunt me when I play too small. Just walk beside me, Baba. I won't stop following you back home. Now as the truth beats down upon my weary eyes, for you I cry. Just walk beside me, Baba. I won't stop following you back home. The empty side thoughts I have are not the same, but you're still the same. That's what I wrote.
Beautiful. Lovely. Yeah, these are all those little moments with Baba that are so precious. Yeah. Anyone else? What about Christina? I mean, you can pass if you like.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I've been reading quite a bit recently, and I'm reading the discourses, and I used to I don't know, I've never really been a reader of Baba books. I think I had some false starts with God Speaks as a kid.
Yeah.
So
That'll discourage you. It could.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been making time, and it's been wonderful. I really feel Baba's presence when I'm reading, um and I really look forward to the times when I have an hour to read. I find that I'm almost kind of um you know uh, foregoing other things, like favorite TV shows, or other things I could be doing in lieu of so that I can read, because I have just really been enjoying sort of not just the words and concepts, but also just sort of that feeling of presence that I experience when I'm reading. So it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I found when I was young, reading the discourses kind of confirmed so many kind of vague hints that I had, before. Like someone actually writes about this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so it confirmed that these hunches and feelings about life were not just off the wall. They were. I was onto something, but I didn't have that conviction until I began reading the discourses.
Mm,
You
yeah.
know, it
Yeah.
really.
I can see why. Yeah. And it's definitely filling in sort of blank blank areas of my knowledge,
Yeah.
which is wonderful as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's see, Santosh. Let's see where Santosh is from. If he comes, maybe he's off somewhere. We got someone up there that is lit up.
Rich. Rich.
Well, I Actually, I've got to blame somebody else for this. I mean, I'll blame Baba, but it's my dog. And so, especially, it started, I think, last spring, but when it's warmer, I really prefer being outside. I like being outside. I love the air. Oh, it's just a little neighborhood, the sounds and whatnot, you know. But my dog, as soon as this is over, my dog wants to go outside. He comes over to me and grabs a bone, starts nosing at the door. So we'll go out there, and I have one of those little canvas folding chairs, you know, those junky chairs you can leave out in the weather if you want. And I'll just sit down, and I don't know what it is that I know Bob has started this, but I don't know exactly how it morphed into like a meditation. And there's nothing to do, nothing to see, you know, especially when it's dark. And I just kind of go into this space. It's like sometimes my thoughts will, you know, get peaked, you know, and I'll start thinking about something, but I try not to indulge in it. And so I guess it's like meditation, but I've never been a meditator. I just never have, you know. So it's rather unusual for me. It's been going on quite a while. And I feel that I'm really in touch with Baba. That's the only thing I can say about it. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know how to go. Thank you.
The avatar on a canvas chair, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not. Yeah. You know, I'll just mention back in the mid 70s, Kitty and Elizabeth had me staying on a cot in the back of the old gateway because Fred and Ella Winterfeld, their health was failing. And so they wanted me up at this end of the center. And so, you know, time went by and everything. One morning I woke up and Baba conveyed this to me. He said, "You can live a good life, but does the world need another good life? Let me live your life." Now, I was kind of surprised. I mean, I thought it was understood that he could live my life if he wanted to. But here, the creator is having to get permission from the creature to be able to, you know, to come into my life. I mean, that was so. So I started. I mean, from then on, I've just when I wake up, you know, Baba, you live this day. You go, you know, you go. I mean, I do the prayers and the breakfast and everything, but I go into the center, Baba, you go in, you clean cabins, you embrace people, you get in these talks, you know, I make that prayer. I go through my whole day asking him, and this isn't like pure Baba going into the thing, but I did it like I used to say, you know, Baba, you live this day for me. After about 4 years, I thought, you live this day for me. Why live for me? You live this day. Get rid of the middleman altogether. So I go in and Baba, you know, I ask him to live the day. And, you know, and there are certain moments during the day that are more spacious and timeless that are not what my son's scars could produce. And I realize Baba has taken me up on, you know, these certain moments and everything throughout the day. So it's really been a beautiful thing going way back, you know, and, you know, you feel yourself eclipsed every once in a while. Yeah, but it's basically the provisional ego. But he has said, you know, you can live a good life, but does the world need another good life? Let me live your life. So that's kind of been one of my daily practices. Among all these other practices, that's been one of the major practices. I mean, but amazing that he would have to get my permission. Love requires that he asks our permission. Can you imagine that? You know, but that was my experience. Anyone else here? What about Ken? Nunsig there. You know, with all those books behind him, I mean, you know, it's probably some wisdom that we can hear from this guy.
Yeah, I just realized my mic's been on all this time. Luckily, it's quiet here.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, I do experience Baba's presence fairly often, but I don't know if I can put it into words. It's usually just being quiet enough to listen and to open, and to be in the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely in the moment. And I think, you know, is one thing feeling Baba, and the other knowing that Baba is there. It is not dependent on the feeling. You kind of know he's there, even if you don't always feel it. I mean, Baba said to Arnavas, who was complaining about not feeling him, and Baba said, I didn't say to feel me, I said to love me. That's a nice conundrum, an enigma. Anything else to add, Ken?
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
I just thought I was thinking if you can elaborate on.
1 second here, just a second. Hey, Segar. Hey, I'm on a Zoom session right now. Yeah, but okay, I'll be in touch. Yeah, we'll go out on Tuesday probably for sure. Yeah, bye. Okay, yeah.
No, I was just thinking your thoughts on what Baba said to Arnavas. Don't try to feel me, just love me. Can you?
Yeah, what that
give me
means
your
to
own
me.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, he said I didn't say to feel me, I said to love me. You can do a lot of loving things, even if you're the state of your heart, you're not necessarily feeling that. I mean, that's kind of the icing on the cake if you feel things. But you can be remembering Baba throughout the day, not necessarily feeling him, but you're aware of him. You know, it's hard to. I'm trying to think. Anybody kind of weigh in on that question?
I got something.
Yeah.
It was similar to what someone else said, but it was I found myself in a situation at work where there was the absolute I would say is just the epitome of blatant hypocrisy and gaslighting, and I was being told it. Let me just say, I'm not going to explain what happened, but let's just say it was as if I was put into a metal barrel, and then someone took a metal hammer, and then they were hitting the metal barrel as hard as they could. And as they were hitting it, they were saying, why are you hitting this metal barrel? Stop it. It's your fault. Stop hitting the metal barrel. Stop it. Stop. As they're just, and in the midst of that, I am in between two different people who were blaming me and saying one thing, and then at the next call saying the opposite thing. I didn't say that. You said, so complete mind, gibberish. I basically found myself in a position where I was getting to the edge of being able to be professional. So I got to the point where I was about to lose my cool. I was about to really lose it, like I was just going to slam a door or something. It was just overwhelming, and it's just been years on end. And I don't know what Bob was doing with me there, but that's a whole other thing. But anyways, I got to a point where the person was saying, you did this wrong, you're doing this wrong, look at what you've done, and you made me look bad, you made everyone look bad, you failed, just terrible things. And in the middle of me about to blow up, what I wanted to, like I said, slam a door. I wanted to yell at this person. And what came out of me was just, I didn't understand why I said it. I just, like, with all this searing rage, I said Baba's name inwardly, and I really said it. And what came out of me, the words came out of me, was just total apologetic. I'm very sorry for this. And because there was no arguing with that situation. I understand you have to stand up for yourself, and I'm very hard-headed, and I will argue with someone to the brinks of the edge of the earth if I can prove my point. I'm very hard-headed, but that's probably why I found myself in this scenario. And I just apologized, and I took in, I said, okay, like, I'm very sorry for this scenario. And I found myself losing who Alan was. So now I'm not able to hold on to Alan's mind, his logic, his ability to argue, his ability to say, this is who I am, and this is what I think, and this is what I am about. I lost all of it, and I had to surrender to Baba inside. It felt like all the cards fell. And what came out of me was not only just kind words, but it was Baba's love. It was Baba's love. It was the presence of him. I felt as if he suddenly appeared. He was just in me, within me, and in this barren land of what I felt was like a godless environment. and it in my mind, though, I still felt, as the words were coming out, like, these people don't deserve this. Like, this isn't fair. Like, I had all the thoughts, but love was like, love reached out through me, and to witness that affected me, to see that it was beyond Alan. And it was like, all of a sudden, I'm saying things and I'm doing things. My body started moving and talking and smiling and calming down, and my blood pressure, everything was just, and they calmed down all of a sudden. They're like, yeah, well, no, I could have explained it better. No, you're right. No, I maybe I did. I'm not going to say I made a mistake, but maybe I did say something, like I could have said it differently to explain it so you understood better. So it just was so subtle but so powerful. The room, I could feel the room shifting, and I felt like, Baba, why do you put me through this circus of, absolute the edge of what I feel like I can handle? And I remember one of the Mondelez saying, I don't know if it was one of the Mondelez, but it was, I think it was Rhoda. She said something like, Baba brings the water, or the things that you feel like you can't handle. He brings it up to here, and then he brings it up to here, and he brings it up to here, but he'll never let you drown. He will never let you drown. And so I felt like I was, like, literally going to drown, and just taking his name, it transformed also the way my judgments about them. It made me feel that I could have compassion for people that I really don't. It's been very hard for me to find any compassion for the intense crudeness that is there. And so, yeah, I think that's also for me an example of Baba's miracle for me personally, on a personal day-to-day, that I'm putting myself through this, but it's also like, I'm just best I can with what I got.
No, beautiful. That's that you get clips. That's a great example, because what I'm just responding back to Prakash. I didn't say to feel me, I said to love me. Like, if somebody is saying something that's you're really against and everything, but you have to hold your tongue, as somebody is like in Alan, you have to hold your tongue. That is Baba's love. You're holding your tongue, but you're definitely not feeling Baba.
Right.
Although Alan did feel Baba in the end, but sometimes you you know, you have to hold your tongue or not say anything. It's disagreeable. You're not feeling Baba's presence, but it is love. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. Thank
I
you both.
didn't, you
Thank
know,
you.
yeah,
Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Jeff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan, it's good to see you. And as someone who's been going through an impossible situation for a couple of weeks, I could relate to that and the idea that, you know, the only solution sometimes is to be in the moment and let Baba take over. You know, stop judging, stop thinking you should do this or not do that. And reminded me of something, Jeff, the story, Jeff, you told last week. I watched the video the other day. Experience you had, I guess, in India.
Yeah.
About apologizing or asking forgiveness for something that someone else was doing.
Yeah. It's,
you know, trying to, whether it's some past life or whatever that karma is that connects you to the situation. And it's kind of the judo of not resistance, you know, the Taoist kind of thing where you allow the energy to flow through and change. And it seemed to work for Alan. You know, as soon as you change, Alan, your projection of your energy and opened, then they started to open in return.
yeah.
But I've been sending love to some people that have had a problem for 30 years, and eventually it will work, I guess, one lifetime or another. Baba says you can turn the deepest enemy to a friend through constant thinking well of them.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and that in itself is like, it's like you may not get to feel Baba in it. It's disturbing, but it's is love. You know. I mean, we could pass a plate around and collect some money for Alan for some therapy. You know, I just
I know Jeff well enough. For those of you who may not know our relationship, I love Jeff very much, and that tickles me very deeply. Just so you're aware.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't want you to get in trouble, Jeff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We won't ask for any more money. Okay.
Ron?
I got a quote. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a quote that fits in with what part of what we were just talking about. And it's from a letter that Baba sent to Delia, who he referred to as Layla, dearest Layla. And this is just one paragraph from this letter. He says, "Realize me, and you will know God. No other pursuit is worthwhile when you have met the beloved. Everything that centers around him, you see all beauty through him, be it expressed through poetry, art, or music, or through life itself. All work, whether of your hands or academic, is done for him, and your only attachment is your beloved. All service then becomes selfless, whether done for friend, family, or stranger. All are one. And toward this, quote, one, the motive too is one, to please him. Whom to please is to know. There is no other knowing. Feeling is not knowing."
Wow.
Yeah.
There it is again.
That one really
Yeah.
struck me. I keep on repeating that quote because it's just well, it's got that thing about feeling. You know, their feelings are powerful, but it's it's not, it's just along the way we'll have them, but it's not the end result.
Yeah, it can't depend on a feeling, because feelings come and go, whereas the knowing of Baba can be abiding.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Very good. That's the way to say it.
Yeah. Well, Goer kind of, she was late for class.
Sorry, folks. Yeah, we were just rolled in from dinner with some friends, and
Yeah.
as anywhere out of town is at least an hour and a half, so to get back takes a long time. So I
Yeah.
said, "Hey, if I could get to see the last part of it, that'll be good."
Yeah.
But anyway, so I missed most of the sharing tonight, so I guess I'll have to see the recorded version later on. But
Yeah.
just wanted to share something amazing that happened to me today, actually, which involves, Baba coming into your day kind of thing. And so here I was, sitting there reading Tom Riley's book, More Light, this afternoon. And of course, I have the music playing, in the background. And I listen to this instrumental station with a lot of my favorite tunes that play there. And I'm listening to this one instrumental version of the song, I Just Called to Say I Love You.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of my favorite songs anyway. And this is just an instrument. And it was such a beautiful composition, I think, I just thought how lovely. I was enjoying it while reading the book. And then I'm reading in Tom's book about this experience he has where, somebody calls him, I think it was Fred Winterfeld back in 1958. And this was before he actually had met Baba physically, to tell him that, he was coming to Myrtle Beach in 58. And right as he's receiving this message, he smells roses. And he tells Fred, I'm smelling roses. And he knows this is the perfume that surrounds Baba all the time. And that was such a beautiful thing to read. And so I'm thinking to myself, and saying to Baba, the people have such beautiful experiences, Baba. They feel you in so many different ways. I mean, I know you're always present in my life, but I've never really had like an experience as just like an experience to feel you, to know you, whatever. And a few minutes later, believe it or not, and this has never happened before, because this station that plays this music, they play like a whole set, and then there's a commercial break, and then there's another set, and so on. And believe it or not, soon after I had this thought, this song comes on again. And it's like Baba telling me while I'm looking at his picture in the book, I just called to say I love you.
Wow. So twice in the same kind of.
Yes, in the same, and that's never happened before. Never. And just after I finished this thought.
Wow. Yeah, because the DJ must have been spaced out a little bit or something.
That's right. So I just wanted to share that. I was like, this is beautiful. So appropriate for today. So there's my Baba experience for the day. He just called again to tell me.
And I just think Baba just delights in these little, just to even see our response to these little things that he drops in. It's like hiding little Easter eggs, and then you see the kids go out excitedly and find these things,
That's right. I mean, I was so filled with love. Oh my goodness, it was wonderful. So see, he always listens to you.
Yeah, so we're kind of down here toward the end. I had a particular thought. I don't know that I thought maybe I'd play this song. I mean, I hope it comes through, because someone mentioned Delia De Leon. I mean, Ronnie read. But this is in a letter that Delia wrote to Baba. There were these kind of very intimate letters that were written back in the 30s. Maybe I thought I'd just play this. See if I hope you can hear it. Can you hear that okay?
This is the real thing, beloved. This is the real thing. This is the real thing, Papa. You are the real one. Your tender look has drawn my soul and set my heart aflame with love for you always, beloved. You are the real one. This is the real thing, beloved. This is the real thing. This is the real thing, Baba. You are the real one. You have bestowed so much on me, unworthy me. My prayer shall be to do your will, beloved. You are the real one. To do your will and more to love you still until at last I cease to be and merge within your love. So still, this is the real thing. This is the real thing. This is the real thing, beloved. You are the real one. You have bestowed so much on me, unworthy me. My prayer shall be to do your will, beloved. You are the real one. To do your will and more to love you still until at last I cease to be and merge within your love. So still, this is the real thing. This is the real thing. This is the real thing, Baba. You are the real one. Your tender look has drawn my soul and set my heart aflame with love for you always, beloved. You are the real one. This is the real thing, beloved. This is the real thing. This is the real thing, Baba. You are the real one.
Yeah, that, Baba said, even though his body is illusory, it holds the reality. So down here in this creation, there's something, there's that doorway to the real. Yeah.
Can I mention who the singer was?
Yeah.
Paul Burchard from Scotland.
Yeah. And he lived in California, I think, but he was very close with Delia de Leon, and it was a letter part of a letter that she wrote to Baba. Those are romantic times.
I met him at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Say that again, Tina?
I met him at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Oh, wow. Okay. Great guy. Very great guy. Very active in the London group. So anyway, any last quote, and then we'll have a few moments of silence?
Yeah, I have a quote, Jeff.
Okay.
Baba says, always remember me, call on me, make me your dear friend, because I am your friend. I will respond to your call immediately. How about that?
Thank you.
Read it once again, and then read it once again, and we'll.
Always remember me, call on me, make me your dear friend, because I am your friend. I will respond to your call immediately. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
That we've seen perpetuating a lot as this route that we should take is complicit. That means us being complicit and us being silent and us just rolling with the punches. It is more important than ever to point out that yes, it is insane that Donald Trump wants to persecute anything.
Jai Baba. Yeah. Hey, just that someone talking there in the background reminds me of this little scene. There were two guys back in the I think 1972, two New Yorkers, John Florence and Frank Parker, big talkers, and they were outside Audie's office waiting to see him and carrying on. And then, someone who'd just seen him came out, and they went into Audie's office to see him, and they found Audie in his chair with his eyes closed. And they felt terrible. They said, Audie opened his eyes and said, if we had known you were meditating, we wouldn't have been out there talking the way we were. And they're apologizing profusely. And Audie, who had this arthritic finger, he said, I do not subscribe to that form of meditation that does not include noise. And that has always stuck with me. And noise doesn't bother me. I mean, if you put a little sugar in a cup of chai, you can taste it. But if you can expand the cup, to a vat, the sugar, you can't even barely taste it. But that rings in my consciousness all these years. So, because sometimes in Baba's house, the people in the living room are talking away, and the people are in the bedroom trying to focus on Baba. But that's one way you just kind of just accept it, and it kind of tends to dissolve in a larger consciousness, you might say.
Can you say that quote one more time?
I do not subscribe to that form of meditation that does not include noise. That's right out of that's the way the Mandalites think. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all, and thanks all for all the sharing. And I really, it's really nice to hear all the different ways that people have Baba in their life. I mean, we could go on endlessly. We could talk here for another 700 years until Baba comes again. All the different ways he interludes, way he intervenes in our life. Yeah.
Hey Jeff, can I share one last poem?
Yeah.
All right, this is one that reminded me of Erich, because Erich was saying how moved he was by all the people coming and visiting, and how that instilled his conviction of Meher Baba. And so when I read this, it really struck me. It's by Rumi, and it's called One by One. One by one, our friends filled with joy and quest begin to arrive. One by one, our friends, the worshippers of ecstasy, begin to arrive. More friends and sweethearts filling you with love are on their way. Darlings of spring, journeying from gardens, begin to arrive. One by one, living their destiny in this world. The ones who are gone, but the ones who survived begin to arrive. All their pockets filled with gold from endless treasures, bringing gifts for the needy of the world, begin to arrive. The weak and the exhausted, those frightened by love, will be gone. The rejuvenated, the healthy and happy begin to arrive. The pure souls, like the spectrums of the shining sun, descending from the high heavens to lowly earth, begin to arrive. Luscious and happy, the blessed garden whose heavenly fruits spring forth from the virgin winter, begin to arrive. Those who are born from the roots of generosity and love, taking a journey from paradise to paradise, begin to arrive. Jai Baba.
Beautiful. Wow. Whose translation was that?
This is a translation by Nader Khalili.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've got that myself. I mean, another one of his. Yeah.
Yeah, Rumi, Fountain of Love. Yeah, you're interested.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, folks, you go on to have a nice week. I'll see, and I'm like I said, I'm always open to any suggestions for a topic. I might even take some excerpts from Darwin's book, Effort and Grace. There are different aspects of how we get tripped up. You know, misconceptions, misprojections, and all of that. Maybe it might be interesting. I'll take a look at that. But anyway, you all have a nice life and wish you the best.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank
you,
Jeff. Thank
Yep.
you.
Oh, yeah, wait, no. Oh, God, how do I always forget? We can't go until the bouncer runs us
Okay.
out.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Jai Baba,
Beautiful.
Jai Baba. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Papa.
Yep,
Jai
bye-bye.
Baba.
Jai Baba. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.